Hi, everyone. This is Marcel with another episode of Everyday Leadership. I'm really excited today because today is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Usually, we're talking to people who, kind of are like, in the leadership field or, kind of applying themselves or doing something like this. Today is different. Today, we're going to be talking to two everyday leaders who, every single day of their lives, put themselves out there to lead by example. And one of the amazing areas in which they do this is by leading the women who are incarcerated in prison in Buenos Aires. So we are actually chiming in into Buenos Aires right at this moment in time. And what's amazing about these women is that not only are they, one of them's a neuroscientist and the other one is a lawyer, but the way that they actually do the empowerment is through sport. And I thought that was such an incredible way of creating team cohesion and things like that. And so I want to share with you across the world their story because they really do have an incredible story to tell. And so I'm going to bring them online now. So just bear with me for just 1 second. Here they come. All right, so we have Flor and Maria. You guys are now live. How are you doing? All right.
Good, and you? Hi, everybody.
Yeah. So what a fantastic story. That you guys have to tell. So before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of everything you guys are doing, please kind of take a moment to introduce yourself. So if I may, Flor, can you maybe just kind of start with kind of giving us a little bit of a background of, what you do, where you're from, and kind of how you ended up where you are today?
Well, thank you, first of all, for this opportunity. What I do is I've been doing lots of things during my life, but the last couple of years, now it's been like 15, 20 years, doing neuroscience applied to sports. So all kind of different stuff related to that. I've been training elite high performance players. I've been training people around sports. I've been training kids and old people, always with this thing about moving, using the brain, motivating and having attention, concentration, memory, applying themselves to be better and performing better on what they do. That is more or less quite what I'm doing. So now in Argentina, obviously we started with PAS, with this thing, but maybe she can introduce herself first and then we keep on talking about it.
Absolutely. So, well, yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing that. So, Maria, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am Maria Paz. I am a public defender. I am a lawyer, and I work with people with vulnerability, and young people. I am a juvenile defender. So I enjoy doing this with Flor and try to change or transform the life of the girl the inmates, or the women, incarcerated women.
Yeah, and I mean that's so incredible, right? Is the fact that next to the fact that you guys work full time, you have successful careers, and what most people would say, hey, listen, I don't have time for it's kind of those type of careers, whether you're in law or you're in neuroscience. Most people are kind of like full 24 hours on they're involved in their career, and yet you guys seem to have this kind of this ability to kind of split yourselves a little bit and kind of, apply yourselves in a different way that really, kind of improves the kind of the whole world, right? Because I mean the stuff that you guys do. How did you come to kind of that idea, right, of wanting to work with people who are in prison?
Well, first of all, talking about what you say about having the time to do this, what we want to say is that we are a team. We are a team of 11 people doing this. So obviously that makes this thing much easier. We all do different stuff and we support a lot each other. So that's how we can develop the things. Obviously, we are thinking a lot and having a lot of meetings, and it becomes like a full-time job. But if we wouldn't have this team with us, it would be impossible to do it. So that is one thing. And the other thing.
Uh-huh.
No, and the other thing, how we came with this idea, obviously we both have different backgrounds, but Maria as a public defender, she has a lot of knowledge about this.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I always like to work with like volunteer stuff and doing things with vulnerable people in different ways. I created also an NGO a long time ago for disability and blind people and all these things. So I have a background of these kind of things, and especially when we got together and we used to play in the same club. She still plays. I don't play anymore because I'm older than her. But and we both had this idea in mind, and we started talking about it. And I always like this idea of being with people, with vulnerable people maybe in jail, was something that always came to my head all the time. How they can live there, how can they support each other, how, I don't know, how they can live being incarcerated. And obviously Maria has a lot of knowledge about that, and we, through hockey, and we feel that hockey is part of our lives. Our whole lives we've been playing and being stuck with hockey. So we think it's a very powerful tool to get people together.
That's amazing. And tell me a little bit about kind of your hockey careers, right? Because you mentioned that of course hockey is a passion of yours. So tell us a little bit about your hockey life. So how did that when did you start? Where did you end up? Like what level did you play?
I am from another city, from Mar del Plata, 500 kilometers from Buenos Aires. So I started to play in Mar del Plata in a sporting club. It was when I was young, and I play hockey during my adolescencia, my youth. And then I came to Buenos Aires and I started to play, but not in a big club. And then at finish, I started in Club Casi, and it was a great group inside. And 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to the Master plus 45 team, represented Argentina, and was a very, very nice experience. And that's why maybe we are not young people. That's why we feel that we can go to jail and with our team try to say you can. If you can dream it, if you have an idea, you can do it, and that is the way.
That's incredible. I mean, just just the fact that you were able to kind of think of merging all of these learning lessons, right? That you've accumulated, right? Not just through sport, but through life, and that you kind of like it's all come together, right? In this to apply it in a way that actually improves the world, right? It just doesn't just improve your own life, but it improves the lives of so many other people. It's incredible. How about for you, Flor?
Well, I started playing when I was 10 years old. I played in El Casi, and it's here in Buenos Aires, and I played until first division, and then I quit because I started studying and doing all kind of things, and when I was 25. So it was long ago, but through sports, because I kept on maybe playing with my friends, and my lifetime friends are all from the club. They all used to play with me, so those are my friends. So that's why it's so important for me, the sports. And I used to, because I'm a sports person, I did other sports. Mainly hockey is my main sport. But then when I started training elite athletes, I started training also hockey players that went to Olympics, that went to World Cups, also all kind of players related to the sport. So I was all the time involved in the sport.
Wow, that's incredible. We have a couple of shout outs. So there's Bayan says hi, and Shaima also says hi from the United Arab Emirates. So people are chiming in from all around the world to hear your story, which is really cool. So you said did you have an opportunity as a coach to go to the Olympics as well, Flor?
I trained people so they could
Olympians.
go. But I didn't in a high performance center. I didn't go myself, but I trained them to go. Yes,
beautiful.
all through neuroscience applied to sports. Yes, all about. Yeah.
That's incredible. So tell let's go into the prison chapter here for a moment. Tell me a little bit about kind of how that all started.
Well, we are a little bit crazy. Obviously, we got together one day. So this is like something to tell. One day we went to play to a club far from here, and Maria says. She now plays in the club. I used to play in that club, but that day I went to play. So we got together and we started chatting, but nothing about this, chatting. But when the game finished and then we went back home, one of our friends in common told us that we were both thinking of these things. We both talk about these things all the time. So that's what happens. Literally was we call each other. Hey, you're thinking of this. I also want to do this. Let's get together. And we got together that same week to chat about this. How can we do it? And so there we went. We started writing down in a paper what we wanted to achieve, what was our our goal, how can we do it. And obviously Maria has a lot of contacts to get into jail, and she knows a lot. She has a lot of knowledge. So she took me one day to jail. I never in my life put a foot on a jail with her. It was my first time in my life. That day 2 years ago, no? Now 2 years ago.
Yes, it was crazy to find a person who had the same idea than me,
I can only imagine how you guys kind of found each other. So tell us a little bit about that first experience, because it sounds like that made quite an impact on you, right? Going in what were some of your kind of impressions when you went into, the jail for the first time? What were the first thoughts that were kind of went on in your mind, Flor?
Well, literally, I was hiding behind Maria because she was there because she's a public defender. So it was very amazing actually because she was defending the captain of a team that is in jail that they play rugby. So her defendant was the captain of the team. So I went with her. She told me, come with me and let's go and you can see what is it about. So I went behind her and she was in front of me and I was there and she came all through, I don't know, the different gates and the different places, and we got there to a little really jail. What happens here in Argentina especially is that jail is poor people are in jail, so there's no really resources. So also it gets an impact when you see. It's not like the movies that everyone look at the movies and you see the uniforms and the orange uniforms there. No, it's really like poor and there's not a lot of resources. So the people are there maybe like together or one on top of the other one or not with their own spaces.
Yeah, it's incredible. So you had that experience, and then once you had that experience, what was kind of going on through your mind then? Like,
no, I obviously because it was with her. It kind of amazed me. Like, let's see if we can do something. Obviously, we went into a male jail pavilion. So what we wanted to do it was with women. So obviously, well, it had an impact on me, and I thought that I wanted to do something to make a difference. Let's see if we can make a difference. The way that they relate to each other maybe is different.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So you must have then had this idea, right? And then you kind of like, okay, the let's do this declaration, right? It's like I declare we're gonna do something, right? And then what? Like I mean, you must have had a conversation with the warden, to try to convince him, that you wanted to do something like this. How did that go?
Maria,
The thing was we have very well received with the officers, and we tried to speak about it. At the beginning, it was like a crazy idea, say, with stick, you want to play hockey, it's like a weapon, So I was we little by little we were changing their minds, and the women were trust of us, and because we are not alone, we are coordinating this program, but we have a very strong team, and we think that the team is the thing more important to build this program, and all the team understood the real sense of this program. That is, you have to change your way of looking or your way of view, and the world is changing if you change your view. And the thing is, asked the officers if we could go to play or went to play outside, and say yes, you can. I say everything was crazy and was very hurry. I don't know, Flor.
Very fast, very fast.
So they were like, yeah, go for it. And like, you know, within a week, you're already like, okay, you know, it's kind of that kind of, you're kind of, you know, yeah, it's amazing how sometimes these things go that way, isn't it? So everybody seemed on board, right? You know, and how about recruiting, you know, the inmates, right, to play? Was there, you know, did you have a hard time getting them to want to play, or did they, you know, were they just right, you know, just very eager and keen? How did that process go?
Well, let's see, what we did is we went to talk with them. So obviously the officials and everybody were agreed with this program. And so the first time we say, well, let's go the first day, and we go and invite them to, if they are together, if they want to get on board. So we went to the pavilion. It's called pavilions here. There's 4 pavilions for women, but I don't know how many women are in each pavilion.
25,
Maria,
I think.
Okay.
25.
So we went and we said, okay, let's start from 1, and the officials told us which pavilion to start with. It was kind of the calm down pavilion, you know, the pavilion that maybe was easier to approach. So we got there, and then the thing is that all the stories about that, because we went be part of something, and anything that you invite them to do that is something different that they can do, they are keen to do it. So that was kind of the invitation part was easy. Now the continuity was a little bit messy.
Oh, I can only imagine, right? You know, I mean, the craziness that must have come from that. What was, you know, as you guys got started with this program, right? What were some of your first challenges that you needed to overcome to be able to, you know, at least be able to build a team and be able to, you know, kind of at least create some form of team spirit?
I think inside the jail there are drugs, and sometimes some girl weren't in the proper way, and we have to speak with her. No, in this condition you can't stay here, or manage the situation in a way to understood the feelings of frustration or what, I don't know, inequality, or so many feelings that you have to think in this time, or we have to think in that time, because you mustn't anger with them. You have to manage this situation that is a very it's a big problem, because if you have a response like you don't understand why I am in jail and you blah blah blah, you know, that's why the thing is you have to manage so many things. Your ego, and it's not the anger is not with me. That's why you have to put limits in this situation to for the best for the team, for your team, and the officer have to rely on us, and and that was I think the worst situation. I don't know, Flor, what do you think?
There were a lot of situations, like for example, I don't know. First of all, we don't have a field, a hockey field. We started with a small triangle, a little triangle, and then they gave us the football field from the men's side. To the rules, because the rules, even in rules, the rules in jail are all rules that they are punish rules, and we want to show them that the rules is not about punishment, it's about committing with other people. And if I do something bad, I'm doing something bad with for the other one. So like Maria says, for example, one of them comes full of drugs, the other one comes smoking. A lot of them want to smoke there, and it's not the moment to smoke. It's the moment to train, to be with the team, and the moment to respect each other. Like any other team, we say we are a team, we are together, and we need, because at the beginning also what happened is that some of them came to the field not to play hockey, so to go around the field and to get in touch with other inmates, that because they're men, so they start shouting to the field, to them. So it was a whole bunch of things, and we tried to get them together, to talk to them. For example, one day we went there and they all fought with each other, so they were punished inside the jail. So we needed to go in and talk to them and tell them that if they fight, we can't get this going on. So there's a lot of things all talking about what happens with a team when the team don't get together. Because what we talk a lot is that we are trying to build a team with people that never have been in a team. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to share. They are scared that the people are going to attack them. They don't rely on the other people. They don't. So there's a lot of things about that.
What really strikes me about this, right, is from a leadership perspective, right? It's in a way it's very primal, right? You're dealing with people who are kind of forced into a primal situation, right? They're genuine human beings, just like every single one of us. But the life that they've lived and the situation that they're in, they were almost, kind of conditioned, right, to behave in a very primal way, right? Where, when, and of course, primal living is all about fight or flight, right? It's all about you're either fighting, right, or you're trying to survive, right? You're basically in survival mode all the time, and so it sounds to me like your big challenge in the beginning was to try to move people away from that, right? That must have been chaotic, right? To be able to kind of get them into that headspace. What was it that kind of what was that first moment where you felt like, hey, we're onto something, right? Where you have, because it must have started off in total chaos where you had a lot of primal individuals, right, in a group. You couldn't call it a team yet, right? Because they, like you mentioned, they didn't have, they had never been taught, right, how to be responsible for each other, right? And how to have that self-discipline and to do, kind of all of those kind of things. What was your first breakthrough moment where you felt like, hey, this is going to work? What was that?
May I reply? You.
No, the thing is, how Flor said recently, there are 4 pavilions, and we started with 1 pavilion, and we started to think, okay, we have to join 2 pavilions. Or no, is not possible, said the officer, because they are fighting or they are not very confident about it. That's why we spoke very well with them, with both pavilions, and say, okay, this is hockey, this is a team, and you, if you want to be part of it, you must you must be in peace, or you must the rules, cumplir las reglas.
Yes, yes, to beat. Yeah.
That's why we enjoying both pavilions, and it was a very we felt very proud. All the team felt very proud, because it's a little work, little by little. You speak with one girl, because you can't. We could see some girls say,
No,
it's good. It's absolutely, it's absolutely fine. Yeah.
And another that's perfect. That was one, and the turnover, I think, is when we went to play to a hockey club. So because what we all the time, like you say, we try to lead by example. So every time we tell them something, we do it. And that is one of the things. So we told them, we promised them that if we are making this team, was to going to play outside the jail.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it was actually we feel that is the only team, I don't know in the world, but in Argentina, that went to play outside the jail to a normal club. So all the logistic around that was very like exciting, amazing, and if you want to say, we were scared.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yes, because what happens is that now our players, that are the girls that are inside the jail, the inmates, now they put them the cuffs. First day of their lives with this opportunity. If they do something wrong, we couldn't keep on going. So we all, what happened with all this is that we all trust each other. The officials trusted them, they trusted us, we trusted them. So it was a full, really trusting, so we can do we can do it, and it was amazing. The outcome was amazing.
Yeah. How did they, because it's, I think this is a really good leadership lesson, right? Is that in order to earn trust, right, we also have to be able to give trust, right? And I think what it sounds like, that giving of trust, right? Because you trusted them, and you trusted, and the officials in the jail trusted them, and in return, right, they felt that they could trust each other in the process, and which then kind of created kind of an environment for them to feel connected. Would that be kind of the correct thing to say?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible. So tell me a little bit about kind of what came kind of after that. So they got to play right outside of their jail for the first time in their lives. They were even though there were a lot of guards around and and all of this kind of stuff, but at least they got to be outside. Did they because I know we spoke before, and you said that their families and stuff got to come and watch, right? What impact did that have on them when when they were playing, and their families and their kids and all of that kind of stuff were actually cheering them on from the stands? Tell us a little bit about that.
It's really, really amazing when you can see in another context, not inside the jail, the women, incarcerated women. They are free, and their family could see the women in another context. And the thing is, the family and the officers. The officers are singing and say, "Oh, you can do it," and it's crazy. No, it's like a family, because they share so many things in their lives, and it's really really interesting. But the thing is, if they could do it for their treatment, it's very, very well, because they are a judge who allow this exit, That's why it's very, very well for her treatment, for the way that the incarcerated women look the society, the society, the officers, everything changes. And the girl who plays against them say, "Oh, it's not that bad. No, they are players than me," and so it's a great experience. I recommend it.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like what you're saying is that there were a couple of of magical things that happened, right? Was the first one is that they themselves, right? I think this is important, right? Is how we view ourselves in life, right? And I think sometimes, and maybe even with all of us, right? Is that the life that we live in, the society that we live, right? Society has a way of putting a stamp on each and every one of us, right? Whether we're teenage girls going to school, or we're working adults, or society has a tendency to do that, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's only as when we start believing, right, that stamp is who we really are, right? And there are many times where society can have it wrong, right? And this is one of those cases, right, where a person, when a person is incarcerated because they made a mistake, right, they're still human beings, and when society puts a stamp on them that they are not human beings anymore, right, but they are labeled as an inmate, right, or as a prisoner, they start seeing themselves as that's all they are. Right, and that creates a shift, right, with regards, because when their self-image, right, becomes that of, all I am is an inmate, and that's all I'm ever going to be, then rehabilitation becomes impossible, right? It becomes impossible for them to see greater opportunities to break free from that. But then there's also, the view from society, right? Is where people, because that stamp is there, regular people in society are going to have that image in their head of who you are. So if you are labeled as an inmate, right, or as a prisoner, people are then going to label you. They're going to their view of you is going, you are a criminal, you're a person who breaks the law, you have no moral ethics, you have no you're not worthy of love, you're not worthy of acceptance, you're not worthy kind of all of these kind of things. And in a protective way, they're going to try and shield themselves from a person like that. And so what it sounds like what you guys did, right, was through sport, you kind of pulled them together, right? You helped the ladies on the team kind of have that sense of like, hey, wait, I do have worth, right? I have meaning, right? I am somebody else than what society kind of stamped on my head to be, and that creates possibility, right? It creates hope. When people in that kind of situation where they kind of go, oh wow, maybe I can play hockey. I never knew I could play hockey. I can work with people. I can listen to my friends. I can show love, right? Maybe I can do that in other areas of my life as well, right? So it opens the door to kind of thinking differently about themselves, but at the same time also giving people outside in society an opportunity to see them as just regular human beings, right? And that they are no different from anybody else, other than the fact that they got caught for making a mistake, right? And that in itself is a very, very powerful message, right? And it's an extremely touching thing that you can do with just that small group of people that you're working with. How is the program going now? Because now it's you said you've been doing this for about 2 years, right? Have you started to see growth in the program?
Yes. So one of the things is, like you say, this changing of the label and all these things are things that you need to do it all the time to practice, no? To change these views is to practice and really believe it. So it's easy to go back to the old perceptions and the old views. So that's why we need to keep on working on this. What happens is that obviously with this pandemic thing, the last time we saw them, it was the last day we went to play to a club. It was the 8th of March, and it was the Women's Day. So we made it was a really good game, and after the game we got together. We have something that it I don't know, celebrating to be with each other and to keep on bonding together. But it's difficult because they are always they change all the time. It's not that we can have the whole team and getting together, obviously, but it's working a lot. It's really working.
Nice. Yeah, and it's amazing how we, yeah, unfortunately, with the whole COVID thing, you have to find a way to be able to adapt, right? And it's amazing how you can use technology even in a situation like this to at least kind of create or to maintain that connection, right? So that's
and for them.
important.
No, sorry, and for them it's very important because they are not allowed to receive their families and nothing.
It's crazy.
So obviously, yes, they need these contacts, and so it's important.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we supported with each other, because we are used to be incarcerated. But we know we are locked down,
That's right. In a way, we're all incarcerated now too, right? And yeah, that's right.
In some way,
Yeah.
I know. The same time, we are at home.
Yeah, I know. It's great. And how are things in Argentina actually with the whole COVID experience? Are things going well, or is it? Or are you guys in a similar boat as Brazil? How are things going over there?
No, it's not going bad, but in the whole country. But we stay in a place that is complicated. So in the place that we are, there's a lot of cases, and that's why we are locked down. But all the country, the other provinces are better, are in another phase. But we are still struggling a little bit.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, to see how one little microbe, right, can create so much damage in the world. It's incredible, So I'm sure there's a lot of learning that we're all going to do from from this experience, and it's I'm just so impressed with the amazing work that you guys are doing with with the inmates there, and the commitment that you have, right, to each other, but also to them is really incredible. We don't see enough of that in the world today, right? And especially with with the whole COVID situation, that people I think one thing I'm learning from it, right, is I bet there are a lot of people in this world who have an idea, right, of wanting to do something for the betterment of society, right? But very often they feel restricted because they'll say things like, "Oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have this resource," or that like now with COVID, right? It's like I can't go outside. I can't and so there'll be there'll be a lot of people out there who kind of who maybe not necessarily stepping up, right, to do something for other people out there in the world, right, because they feel restricted. What advice would you have for them, right, for kind of to say, hey, listen, you can do this? What would be your advice to somebody like that?
Me?
Yes.
My advice, first of all, is very important to get together with the right people. Obviously, to do something on your own is difficult. It's very difficult, and that's why we say that the team and teamwork and being part of a team is your main structure. So if you get together with somebody that has your same views and want to commit, to really commit with something, you can do it. That you can do it in any time, any place, any moment. Being on your own maybe is more difficult. But if you start, but there's so many people that want to do different things. That is maybe the first step, I would say. Try to find somebody to get involved with you to do this, so you can support each other, you can be with each other, and that is one of the main things, because really the team is what gets you strong. Is when you don't have strength enough and you feel down. The team gets you up. That's why for us, that we've been in a team our whole lives, we know that the power of a team. We know how the team can lift you up in any moment. So I would recommend to get a team together. Doesn't have to be, I don't know, 10 people. If you get one on board, and then like we did, everything is easier, and different minds and different headsets gets you much further.
I love that. I can only, and I'm even thinking about myself, right? It's like it's reaching out to other people doesn't cost money, right? And we all have technology where we can connect with another human being. And what you guys are kind of teaching me is that you only need one person, right? There are 8 billion people on this planet, right? And you really only need one. Right, to be a team, and that's and then when you have that, you have the start of something that's twice as big as what you are, right? Which is in a way very powerful, right? So that's an incredible lesson. If people are watching this, right, and they say, hey, wow, this is an incredible initiative. How can I get involved, or how can I, kind of play my part, or maybe how can I do this where I live, right? What would be the best way for them to, either get started or even, contact you guys and say, hey, what can I do to help? What would be the best way for that?
Flor.
Well, it's difficult. Like I say, maybe I think is get together with somebody, and start. What we did is we started thinking what we want to do, what we really want to do, because sometimes you want to do something, but you don't know what you want to do. So if you get with somebody also, and you can put your mind together, and I don't know, your views together, there I feel it's easier, a little bit easier. And there's always places to go and touch and see, especially this thing of the jail. Obviously, if you get involved with someone that has a contact in a jail with an official, with an officer, with a director, it's easier because you can go and chat with them instead of going to knock a door that you don't know where you want to go. That is one of the things. And the other thing is that maybe if you are scared and you don't know, and for example, with this kind of thing, especially with the inmates, if you look at the people as people instead of as what they did, or what they are, or what the people, first of all, are people
The
with
label,
exactly. It's people with their circumstances, with things that they could do, I don't know. So if you can look at that, there is easier the approach, because you don't feel that fear to approach. And I mean any kind of people, maybe someone on the street, a homeless, or someone in jail, is we are scared to approach.
I love that. And I'm even thinking just in relationships, like how many of us in like relationships with our families, right? With stop seeing them as people, right? And we see them based on the stamp, the identity that we kind of put on them, and we stop seeing them as just human beings, right? Who, like every single one of us, makes mistakes, right? And we start labeling the people around us, right? At work, right, and families and all of that, as something different, other than just a human being who's trying to survive, right? And I
because
Yeah.
Because we need to give the opportunity for them to change also. If they don't have opportunities, how can they change? Or how
Beautiful.
can
Yeah.
you,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a thing that happens also. That's why we work with women, poor women, vulnerable, and they never had the opportunities. So if you can show that there's other opportunities, and that there are people that look at them, that care about them, that can make a little change. We are not saying, we always say we don't need to do a huge change. If we change, if one changes the point of view, the way we are,
That's huge,
our
right?
mission, yes, our mission is done.
Yeah.
The thing is, the system is not prepared to that because the state have no money to work in that change, in that resocialization. That's why the community it's a very important part of it, I think.
Yeah.
And our program is part of it.
Yeah. That's incredible. What an amazing story and amazing work that you guys are doing down there. And I hope the viewers get inspired a little bit by the amazing incredible work that you guys are doing. If somebody's watching this, right, and because I know you mentioned earlier, you guys don't have a lot of resources, right? There's it's not like you have a lot of money. You don't have, because did you tell me you don't, there's not even money for uniforms, right? I mean, there's not a lot, that the inmates, have, right, to kind of make them feel as that team. If there's anybody out there who's listening to this and say, hey, listen, I want to, I want to donate or I want to help or something, how can they get in touch with you?
First of all, follow in our Instagram, arroba Cuida la Bocha hockey.
Is that a Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page? Guida la Bocha?
Yes, Cuida la Bocha.
Okay.
Flor.
Okay.
Cuida la Bocha is called. I don't know if I can.
So I have it. So I actually have it on the screen because you guys are Team Guida la Bocha. So it's on the screen right now. And so if you are watching this, you want to get so it's a Facebook page. It's on Facebook.
Facebook and Instagram, yes.
Facebook and Instagram. So go to Facebook, go to Instagram, type in Team Guida la Bocha. So is it just Guida la Bocha or Team Guida la Bocha?
Cuida la Bocha.
Guida la Bocha. So type in Guida la Bocha.
Bocha is the bowl, the hockey bowl,
In Spanish.
Okay.
And Cuida is take care in English.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay.
And
take care.
Both the meaning,
Okay.
The bowl, you take care the bowl, and you take care the bowl. But it's in Spanish,
Nice.
Because,
I love it.
Because the slang for head is bocha also in Spanish. So we are take care of your head, take care of the ball. It's like
What a beautiful play with words. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Instagram, Facebook, it's whatever, in any way, Guida la Bocha is the team. Follow up, give them some love, show some support in any way that you want. They're not asking for anything. They're just two amazing ladies that have really inspired me. And, I hope that, you'll be able to, kind of be inspired as well. So I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to come onto the show. We're exactly on the hour. Isn't it amazing how fast time flies when you're doing these shows? You guys are kind of like, we have to do this for an hour, and you're like, it goes by so quickly. So thanks so much for coming onto the show and sharing your story with us. I'm gonna just go into my
personal screen here. So viewers, thank you also so much for watching this show. It was it's such an incredible story, and I'm so inspired by these two ladies. So in any way that you if you ever want to kind of get involved, or you want to do something, just go to the Instagram and connect with them on Facebook or whatever it is, and just share the love, right? That's all you need to do, and we will keep following up with their story. So keep you posted as well, because this is a project that's pretty close to my heart. They really touched me in a very special way when they told me the story for the very first time. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I'm looking forward to the next episode. We got another one coming up in about a week's time. I'm going to share more information on that, because we're going to do a lot more work on mindfulness. There's an episode coming up a week after on the power of language, as well as the power of body language. We got a lot of episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned, stay connected, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.